Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. I am Speedy4, and welcome to the 1-year anniversary of ModTro64! Woo! It's been one whole year! And it's been kind of fun. I mean, I talked about an obscure board/card game, I made a top 10 list of the best snacks in video games, I talked about some great games, and I even talked about a Christmas movie at one point. But obviously, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't not only for my subscribers, which I appreciate you all very much, but also my patrons who managed to see this episode before anyone else did. And if you want to figure out how you can get that special privilege, then please stay tuned on how you can figure out how to access my videos early. Now, in the meantime, let's talk about art.
Ah yes, one of mankind's greatest achievements. I mean, besides electricity, landing on the moon, the invention of penicillin... Wait, where was I going again? Oh, right, art. You know, the one thing most people think isn't a real career choice, but in actuality it's one of the most demanding jobs in the entire world.
We demand respect!
I mean, seriously, who even thinks this? You need art for comic books, you need art for animation, and you especially need art for video games. Heck, video games themselves are an art form. Yes, art can be one of the most important things when it comes to anything. I mean, you have to have some level of knowledge to know what makes a good-looking logo. I mean, look at the FedEx logo. It's bold so it immediately catches your eye. It's in a sans serif font, and it has two contrasting yet complementary colors. But most importantly, when I learned about this a few years ago and when Indie Jacob pointed that out to me, the FedEx logo has an arrow in it. And people think art isn't a career choice. Getting back on track though, why am I talking about art anyway?
Well, because a few days ago, before writing for this episode, I realized that April 1st would be the 1-year anniversary for my show, ModTro64. However, I didn't have any ideas on what I could do. I once thought of reviving one video idea I had previously, but it'd take too long. And the anniversary would have been in 8 days. So I needed something to do so that I could quickly make and not spend a lot of time getting footage and editing, without missing the deadline. So I held a straw poll, and I posted it on the official ModTro64 Discord. But I didn't post it just there. I also posted it in some other Discord servers that I'm in, as well as posting it to my Twitter page and my DeviantArt. And there were originally 4 choices.
Talk about insert game name here. Do an art video celebrating ModTro64. Do a top 10 about something Pokemon related. And other.
And after some time passed, I came back, I looked at the results, and... Well, guess I'm doing an art video. But I didn't necessarily know how to make an art-focused episode of ModTro64 interesting. So I lay there in my bed, watching some YouTubers like Billiam or Indie Jacob, just getting the cogs in the inner machinations of my brain just turn until... idea! So, you know, back at the beginning of this episode, you know how you saw this logo? You know, the one I used for ModTro64? Well, that's the last time you're gonna see that logo.
I mean, to be fair, when I first made this logo, I was going for a certain aesthetic. I had originally made this logo by hand, with the inner letters being embossed. I was going for a sort of jeweled look, and I had picked colors that you would have seen in the N64 logo. But I was going for a somewhat futuristic-looking look on the ModTro, but the 64 at the end was more of a retro-looking font.
Because ModTro is a fusion of the words modern and retro. And by taking the mod and modern and the tro and retro and just sticking them together to really drive home the point that this show takes a look at all games, modern and retro. As for the 64 at the end, that's mostly because it's a nod to my first ever video game console, which was obviously the Nintendo 64. But as much as I love this logo, I do feel I am in need of an upgrade. So, for the 1-year anniversary, ModTro64 is getting a visual upgrade. And this video is a Looking 2 set upgrade. And to paraphrase a certain famous chocolatier, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure decoration. So, let's update the logo.
First off, I started to try drawing on my phone using an app called Sketch, which is a really good free app on Android that has no right being this good. I've used it ever since I first got my Samsung Galaxy Note 10, and I made some really impressive sketches with this app. But why am I using it? Well, I first thought I could hand draw another logo and maybe lift some of the elements from the old logo and somehow incorporate them into the new one. I even had this one idea where I make the M into an N64 controller to really drive home the N64 theming. So, I took a picture of an N64 controller and drew around it, but the longer I spent in Sketch, I soon thought about it and realized that hand drawing another logo wouldn't work for me. Maybe in the future, if I ever feel like making a new version of the logo, I'll consider it, but for now, let's take what we have made and drop it into Photoshop.
Before we move on, if you're an artist out there and you're looking for a decent drawing app, then I would say check out Sketch. I highly recommend it.
Anyway, getting back on track, we are now in Photoshop. Cs4 Edition.
Yes, how quaint.
Yes, I know the newer Photoshops can do some cool shit, but CS4 has a special place in my heart, and I can do almost anything the newer Photoshops can do, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on much. Anyway, I experimented with the N64 controller, being the M in ModTro, but the more I tried it, it just wouldn't work. I showed this prototype to some people in some Discord servers I'm in, and I basically got the same amount of feedback. Which, they praised the idea on how unique it was, but in execution it doesn't work well. Considering the shape of the N64 controller, while it does look like an M, it's too rounded and smooth to really get that whole M shape I need for the logo. So I eventually scrapped the idea. Which is a shame, but fear not, for I found another way I can use this little drawing of the N64 controller I did. So we'll put a pin in that for later. For now, let's focus on the one thing everyone did agree on. My choice in font. For anyone curious, the font I used for this new version of the logo is called Opine Heavy. It's very easy to look up and find, so add that to your list of fonts, I guess? Anyway, so now that I had at least a good-looking font, I spent some time experimenting with the look of it. Cause if I really wanted to, I could just make it all white and add a drop shadow and I have a logo. Simple as that. But that's the lazy way to do it. I usually try my best to make my art look good, and I wasn't gonna take the easy way out. So I wanted my logo to not only be bright and colorful, but pleasing to the eye and able to catch anyone's attention. Now that I had given myself a goal, I tried some color experiments. I first tried giving my logo the exact same colors as the N64 logo, but I tried it out and it didn't look as good. To be honest, this makes me think of something you'd see on a baseball jersey. I even tried shifting the hues around to see if I could find any good color combos. Ultimately, I didn't see anything good. It all just seemed kinda muddy. Pretty much like early N64 games. But then I tried one thing that I sometimes use when designing characters. I inverted the colors. And wow, does that look good. The light yellows, the sky blue, and the indigo looked really good. The pink was okay, but I wasn't really feeling it, so instead I turned the pink into a magenta, and that is a good look right there. However, I'm not quite done with the logo, because while plain colors can look nice, I still feel like it was missing something, so I first tried giving it some black shadows, and that didn't work.
Have you tried giving it cream orange? Brilliant!
So, with my colors selected, I gave a shout out to each of the letters and numbers in ModTro64, and it was already looking much better. But I still feel like it was missing something, so I then added a drop shadow to the magenta triangle in the background and made it the same color as the strokes. And I also readjusted the shadow in the 6 and 64 because it didn't quite look right. But after I did that, I finally had my brand new logo.
And it looks great. It kind of has a Mega Man feel to it, which I like, and I showed it off to some people who were giving me feedback on this, and they also love it. So, that's it, right? I mean, I got a brand new logo, so the video should be done, right? Have you seen the length of this video? No, we're not done yet. You're probably asking what I could possibly do after designing a new logo. Well, I'm glad you asked. Because now we're going to be updating the channel art.
By using this handy-dandy template I found using a Google image search, which shows you where you need to put the logo so it can show up on all manner of devices without any weird visual glitches or hiccups. So to start things off, I use this DropMix background I tend to use as backdrops for my videos, which I made myself. But I tried a number of different things, from enlarging the image and adding a color to it, which I eventually settled on a dark purple. And then I had the idea of adding colors from DropMix into the background as some lines. I tried this and it was too colorful and very saturated.
Color can be a good thing, but too much of it can make it feel too bright, and not to mention, it clashed with the logo. I tried many different things. I tried different blending modes, I tried different angles, but nothing worked. And the magenta in the DropMix colors is almost the same shade of magenta in the logo! And I didn't want that. As cool as it looked, I just ended up scrapping the idea, and instead I decided to try one color.
Which for some reason I picked green. I don't know why I picked green, but I'm glad I did, because it eventually turned into a sort of aqua color. And it had this neat glowy effect I liked. Almost looking like a lightsaber.
Pretty freaking cool, eh?
I then added a little point to the logo, giving it a drop shadow, and BAM! Channel art is done. But we're not done yet with this video, because now we need to update the channel icon.
And you know that N64 controller I told you guys to put a pin in? Yeah, we're gonna be using it for the channel icon.
And to stay consistent with the logo, I decided to use the current icon as a base. And then I made the icon black and magenta, because I was doing some cleanup work on the N64 silhouette. And then I made everything else that same shade of yellow in the font, giving it the same dark blue stroke, and I kinda tinkered with it a bit, eventually adding an outer ring with the same color and strokes, but then I felt it was slightly off. I soon realized what I was missing and adding a slight brush of orange to one side, and then made the magenta a gradient going from sky blue to dark blue and back to magenta, and making the stroke a different gradient, and once again, we now have a sleek looking icon that's pleasing to the eyes. Not only is it my channel icon, but it's also my watermark and the icon for the official Discord server.
So, is that it? Well, we got a new logo, new channel art, as well as new icons for the YouTube and Discord server. So, what else could there possibly be left to update? There is one more thing.
We need to update the intro. Now, I'm still using that song that I used for the intro, which is actually a mix I made in DropMix. For anyone curious, it's made up of these cards, by the way. But as for the actual intro, being my logo with an audio spectrum, I need to redo it with the new logo, so I quickly made something in After Effects. And then I made a brand new version in Premiere Pro, which, for the first time ever,
you guys get a sneak peek at the brand new intro. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you the intro. And there we have it, a brand new version of the intro, and thus my whole channel is updated. And I like how everything came out. Do you like the new art? Do you dislike it? Leave a comment down below and tell me your thoughts. But once again, I want to thank everyone involved in this channel. my subscribers, my patrons, and the 49.8% of you that aren't subscribed to this channel yet. By the way, that's a free thing you can do. But hopefully this year I can produce more videos. And who knows, maybe this will be the year we'll get 1,000 subscribers.
And then you can talk about me. Don't you just want to rip and tear into me?
Hey, you'll get your chance only when we get 1,000 subscribers. You be patient.
Patience Nation, I've been brewing in the back of your mind since 2014, and it's about time I get to play with you.
Hey, I'm in charge here, and I'll talk about you when the time is right.
Fine, but this isn't the last you'll see of me.
So, before I wrap up this video, do you want to see these videos before everyone else? Well, then you should consider joining my Patreon, where you'll not only be able to join the official ModTro64 Discord, as well as getting access to special channels, but you'll be able to see these videos before everyone else does, as well as getting a special shout-out at the end of the video. Like the $1 tier, where you'll get your name appear at the end of the video, the $3 tier, where you'll get a personal shout-out from me, as well as a little icon, and the $5 tier, where you'll get a custom wallpaper done by me of your OC, persona, fursona, or just your favorite character from a video game, comic book, anime, or cartoon. You should consider joining, it'll be a lot of fun, and you get to help shape how ModTro64 goes. Just go to www.patreon.com/speedy4. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta get to work on the next episode. It's got something to do with DropMix. So, until next time, I'll see you later, and I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like, and if you're new here, you should hit that subscribe button. That way you can see my content the moment it gets uploaded. And if you want to know the exact moment it comes out, then hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when I upload new videos. Now, in addition to updating the channel art in this video, you can now get my new logo in shirt form, only on TeePublic. But you can check out my Redbubble and Displate stores if you wanted something different. A special thank you towards Laurie, my only $3 patron so far. Your support is super appreciated. And a special thank you to my $5 patron, Callus Valis, the champion of anime waifus and Smash. Your support is also appreciated, and your art was very fun to work on. So, once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.